Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Dignified2K. We're back with another video, and today, guys, we are returning with my Kevin Durant build. And as you guys can see, we've got the Nets jersey on, and that can only mean one thing. If we're bringing out the Nets Kevin Durant build, you already know who we have to play with. We've got my boy Chimoma on KYRIE IRVING. You guys know how nasty Chimoma is on a guard. Make sure you guys go check him out. The link to his channel will be down below in the description. But today, we're going to be bringing out my Legend Kevin Durant build and Legend KYRIE IRVING. But first, we're gonna go ahead and check out Chimoma's build. You guys can see he's on a deep range shot creator. However, his build is 6'5". You guys know this year the shorter guard builds are really obsolete unless you're like a defensive, pie charted build. If you're small, you will be getting mashed by two-way slashing playmakers. But you guys can see pretty much everything with Chimoma's build. It's a lot like my deep range shot creator. It's very good, just has long arms, so the defense is actually very solid. We'll go ahead and take a look at his finishing badges. You guys kind of know the whole deal. We'll go through this really quickly. Like I said, legend builds are actually insane. He's going to be able to have Hall of Fame floor general, so I will be able to speed boost once I get almost takeover. I think I'll be able to speed boost before that as well. But now let's go ahead and take a look at my Kevin Durant build. My last video where I won a game on every single one of my legend builds. Make sure you guys go check that out. That video was crazy. But I put this build in there, and a lot of you guys were saying, pretty much overwhelming majority of the comments were saying you wanted to see more of my Kevin Durant build. Now the stats, you might say obviously Kevin Durant has like 90 overall stats and everything. You can't make a Kevin Durant actual build this year. How well-rounded KD is probably the closest you can get. You guys can see the badge spread is actually really good too. If you guys are new to the channel and the first time seeing it, I think you guys are going to really enjoy this build. You guys can see my 20 finishing badges, my 20 shooting badges, and my 30 playmaking. So we'll be able to get a lot of ankle breakers with space creator, and then we have really good defensive stats as well. We'll be able to block shots, play perimeter defense, and play in the paint. But guys, if you are new to the channel, like I said, make sure you go ahead and subscribe. We're going crazy all the way to 2K21. Like the video, but let's go ahead and get right into it. Now, if you guys are like me, the past few days, pretty much the only thing I've really been doing is just watching basketball. We've seen a ton of good games and all of that, but one of the teams that is actually in the bubble that you guys might have forgotten about is actually the Brooklyn Nets. They ended up playing yesterday against the Magic. Now, if you guys don't know about the Nets, obviously Kevin Durant has not played at all this year, which is why I think this duo is going to be insanely fun to watch next year. He's going to have that full year of recovery after his terrible injury in the playoffs last year. But KYRIE IRVING also is not playing in the bubble. I don't know if he's there at the bubble to support his team or not. I'm not really too sure. But the Nets played yesterday against the Magic, and that game, it was pretty bad. At one point, I'm pretty sure they were down by like 40, which got me to think, man, this Nets duo of Kevin Durant and KYRIE IRVING next year is going to be crazy. I think that's going to be one of the most fun duos to watch. Obviously, both of these guys are terrific isolation players. They can score at ease. They can score whenever they want. You just give the ball in their hand. You don't really have to run a play for a Kevin Durant or a KYRIE IRVING. So those kind of players, obviously, they fit really well into any system, and they'll fit right into this young core that the Nets have. Comment down below. What do you guys think? Do you think the Nets are going to be a title contender next year? Honestly, it depends on how Kevin Durant is coming back. If he's even like 60-70% of what he was, he's still going to give you 25 plus points a night, still offer good rim protection, all that kind of stuff like that. So it'll be a lot of fun to watch, in my opinion. Now, one thing I want to talk about before I get into the main topic of the video, man, is at this point in the year, it's August as I'm uploading this. Yesterday I got these gameplays, so it was the 31st of July. But literally, the only thing that I'll end up playing on the twos now is either a two-way slashing playmaker or a two-way slasher and then another lockdown or something like that, man. So these next couple of weeks, hopefully until they, announce the prelude or the demo of 2K21, which I'm hoping they really do soon, these gameplays are going to be rough, man. We're going against two lockdowns right here. Pretty much they're just throwing at you either one of these locks. The lock's trying to guard me right here. And then you guys can see the two-way slashing playmaker. Every single time I try to do a dribble move, which is probably the most annoying thing this year, he's just reaching to get me out of an animation. But you guys can see, like I said in the beginning, we can actually speed boost once we get takeover. But like I said, do you guys think these two-way players should exist next year? I don't know, bro. These are probably the most annoying builds to go against. If you guys saw the beginning, the guys making threes, all they want to do is hop step in the paint, and if they get bailed out, they'll just throw it out to a lock. And the majority of the time, they have really good finishing stats. So they're just going to finish pretty much over anybody. And that legend, you guys have seen me play on one. The builds are insane. But the main thing I want to talk about today, guys, if you've been living under a rock, the 2K TV actually uploaded an interview, which was actually pretty cool to see that Agent 00, you guys know Agent, that he was actually on 2K TV. And then he was with Mike Wang, pretty much talking about 2K21, next gen, current gen, what they got going on, a little bit of the details. Now, there's some pretty good information, but it's kind of stuff that we already knew, but it's actually confirmed from 2K21. So we'll talk a little bit about it right here. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go over every single detail. You guys can go watch the 2K TV episode. They do a really good job talking about it, but watch Momo cook up right here, man. Like I said, these videos, when I do duos, are actually so much more fun when I have somebody that actually can just create their own isolation and score whenever they want to. You can see Chimoma taking it right to the rack. It's beautiful to watch. But the main thing they were talking about was the current gen and next gen consoles. One of the questions that was brought up was obviously the skill gap. If you guys talk or watch any other YouTuber, the main thing they will say this year how there is not a skill gap in the game. Well, you can kind of argue either way. Obviously, what we were talking about earlier, the two-way slashing playmaker, there really isn't a skill gap. If you know basic dribble moves and you can time a jump shot, it's very easy to use that build, you guys. Like I said, you guys have seen me dominate with the build, but they're talking about skill gap and, you know, green releases and whites and how whites go in and full bars. And like I said, if you guys watch 2K at all, you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, they were talking about it, and Mike Wang was actually saying that they did discuss, and it's been a lengthy discussion about if only green releases should go in on NBA 2K21. Now, before we get too much into that part, they did talk a little bit about the old gen 2K21 for PS4, which in my opinion is going to be pretty much this exact same game. If you guys were watching previous videos, we've talked about how PS4 and PS5 games will not be transferring over from Park, so everything you do in PS4 Park will not transfer over to 2K21 Next Gen, which is kind of annoying, but at the same time, it's kind of nice because they will be totally transforming 2K21 Next Gen, which I think will be very exciting to actually get. It'll be kind of like 2 releases of a game, to be honest with you. But the old gen console is probably going to be a lot like this. They were saying that, even Mike Wang said this in the interview, that he said, we're encouraging people. Obviously, they want to promote their newest game, but they're encouraging people to kind of save up for that 2K21 Next Gen, because he said it's pretty much going to be all of what 2K21 is from a gameplay perspective, I guess, or from like all the stuff that's in there, kind of like probably most likely events and stuff like that is all going to be in 2K21 Next Gen, but it's just going to be a whole lot better. He said it's going to be more fun. There's going to be new things added to it, which, like I said, if they're kind of making it where you can't take your PS4 players to PS5, that kind of leads me to believe that PlayStation 5 will have a totally new version of how to make builds and archetypes and stuff like that. They took a pretty big direction on how, you know, it would work this year, so I can only imagine what they were thinking about 2K21 Next Gen on how to make builds and stuff like that. We've kind of talked about it. I think it'll be pretty interesting to see, and like I said, if anything comes up to it, 2K21 Next Gen is looking to be the best game, you know, the best NBA 2K game we've played in a very long time. But we'll go back and talk about now the skill gap and what they were talking about 2K21 Next Gen with full whites going in. Now, from my perspective, I feel like the only thing that only makes sense for this, a lot of people kind of have their opinion about if white should go in or only green should go in and stuff like that. A lot of you guys got to remember, there's a whole lot more casual players that buy the game than competitive players that you guys watch on YouTube. The only way that I think that this could work is it's 100% is if there's different game modes with different sliders. Obviously, one of the biggest things, if you guys are watching videos and streams and stuff right now, is going to be these wagers. You guys have seen and like heard about full whites and a full bar and stuff like that. Now, in a competitive setting, if they were talking about like how they were wanting it, that would be a green, and they wouldn't have to worry about it. That shot would go in because full whites are just correctly timed meters. It's just kind of RNG at that point that it's not going in, and there's really nothing you can do about that. But in a competitive setting, that's why you want those sliders. If you time your shot correctly and it's green, you're going to be benefited from that. But obviously, there should be a casual game mode where it's kind of like this. Obviously, this is more of a casual type of setting and game mode, as you can see Chihuahua breaking ankles out here and greeting with a meter. But That's the only way this game is going to survive and kind of give people what both of them want. I don't know if exactly 2K21 old gen will have something like that. We might possibly be able to see something like next gen have something like that, which would be really interesting. Let me know down below in the comment section what you guys think about all that. Like I said, make sure you guys go check out the 2K TV. But as we wrap this up, hopefully you guys are enjoying the videos all the way up to 2K21. I know it's getting a little bit stale, but stick with me, guys. Thank you guys for all your support. It's been your boy Dignified. I'm out. Peace.